I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are taking an in-depth look at ESP, extrasensory perception, and we're going to answer your top 5 questions about the topic. We are joined today by an expert. His name is Howard Dunn. He has literally written the book on ESP. It is called We Do ESP, The Life of a Woman in Turmoil. Howard Dunn, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
You're welcome.
You've written a wonderful book, and we're going to get into it. But first, let me ask you a couple of questions. Question number 1, what is ESP?
ESP is extrasensory perception, where basically the senses are heightened and you can feel from one party to another party. In this case, it's my extrasensory perception that's been contacted through this woman, who is basically a woman I do not know, but we are so connected, it's as if she's my sister.
Amazing, amazing. So is ESP generally silent or nonverbal?
No, it's the opposite, actually. It's verbal. You can hear basically and see, you can feel, you can touch. Everything about the senses that you imagine, you can do with this particular person.
But this is a little bit extra. You're hearing and seeing and experiencing more, hence extrasensory perception. Question number 2, do we all have ESP from some one level to another?
The difficulty in saying that is that I'm only one person. So to generalize and say that everybody's got ESP, no, I wouldn't say that. But there are more than one person that does have ESP, and that's obviously the case in my situation. Me and her, both of us have ESP.
Okay. Third question, do some people have better ESP abilities than others?
Correct.
Like, let's say
yes,
this woman
exactly.
you're communicating with, do you think you have a stronger ability, or she has a stronger ability, or it's equal?
She has a stronger ability. She has the seeing. I don't get much of the seeing at all. But everything else I do get: the hearing, the smell, the touch, everything else bar the seeing.
Here's question number 4 for you. Do you think ESP can be learned?
If you have the ability to do it, yes, it can be developed and heightened to an extreme, because at the moment she's very, very, very heightened in ESP, whereas I'm working on percentages.
Right.
She can go up to 100%. I would say manage to get up to 50% at the moment. That's
final question, and then we're going to talk more about your book. And that is, can ESP be dangerous to delve into, do you think?
Yes. I think, to be honest with you, that it's been developed by the military and various people, but it's not something that I'm experienced in talking about. Because although I was in the Territorial Army, I wasn't in the field of ESP, and I wasn't able to develop my senses as well as hers, for instance, as other people have been, let's say, motioned into developing their own senses.
Amazing. Now, I appreciate your time on those questions. Let's get into your book now. It's called We Do ESP. We do ESP, The Life of a Woman in Turmoil. Tell the folks at home what your book is all about.
Basically, it's about this woman who we've been doing ESP for a very, very long time. When I was 4, I basically felt her start her life by, when a baby is screaming when it's born. I felt that, and I got actually tongue-tied when she was born. From there on, I've been able to sense that there's something not quite right. This is how I started to learn about my ESP. Something that wasn't right was her being involved in my life, where I could not get rid. I couldn't accept her, and I couldn't understand what was actually going on at that time. So this woman has been connected to me from since she was born.
Hmm.
Now, what's happened is that she's got involved with a group of people who have manipulated the fact that she does ESP.
Hmm.
And they've been torturing her for a very, very long time, which unfortunately we both can't do a thing about.
Does she talk to you all the time? Sometimes? Is she
And
always kind of?
sometimes now I've had to regulate it because at the moment it's been a difficult situation because she's been tortured. They want to manipulate the talking as well as the ESP itself.
Hmm.
They want to actually take over and get her to do what they want her to do through me, which I haven't allowed.
Do you ever have pleasant conversations or enjoyable conversations with this
We
woman?
used to a long time ago, from since they took over and tried to manipulate the ESP. No, because she's having to do most of the things that they ask her to do, and
Hmm.
they actually force her to do the things that they want her to do. So it's getting difficult because they want to bring me down because they seem to have a thing about me and they're very, very jealous of my situation, my lifestyle, my presence in life, and what I do with my own life. So from since then, they've got more and more antagonistic, more, unfortunately, I'd say much, much more jealous than they had to start with when they realized we did ESP.
Now, do you feel like they want to hurt or kill her or hurt or kill you?
Uh, Now, unfortunately, they do, but they don't want to get rid of the ESP. They
Right.
want to keep the ESP going so that they can be involved in it themselves. Unfortunately, they don't do ESP.
Hmm.
So it makes it difficult because they want to take over something that they don't understand a thing about.
Absolutely. Have you ever had a psychic connection like this with anyone else besides this woman?
Oh, just this woman, just this woman.
And
And
she was a baby when she started communicating with you. About how old were you when you started getting the communications?
4 years old. The communications didn't start when she was born. That she actually, when she screamed, I felt it. I was with my brother at the time.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago. But I asked him at the time, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "Yes." When I got tongue tied,
Hmm.
I thought, "This is crazy. What was that? What was that?" And I've never forgot it. I was only 4 years old. I was down at my uncle's in London, and we was playing about, and all of a sudden the world just stopped for me because that's how and what happened at the time.
Now, do you know where she lives? Does she live in the UK, the United
Well,
States?
yeah, she lives in Brent in London, but that's as far as I got because unfortunately she was forced to lie about her actual person. She made out she was my ex-girlfriend,
Hmm.
which made it easier for me to comprehend why we have this connection. But it turned out she isn't my ex-girlfriend, and she's somebody that was a bit of a, uh, well, to be a liar
Yeah.
because she was forced to lie about her situation without getting them caught and without getting her in trouble.
Now she can see you, so she knows what you look like, but you don't know what she looks like.
Exactly, exactly. That is the situation at the moment.
Amazing. Do you know her name?
No, we've had a pen name, Louise. I've called her,
Mhm.
but it started basically getting bad when I smelled gas.
Hmm.
I smelled gas, and what they was doing at the time, they was forcing her to put her head inside an oven. Um, and this is what heightened the smell of the gas. And I said, "What is going on?" And basically, she told me that she was in a situation where she couldn't help it. When they realized we were connected in that way, they allowed her to come out of the oven. And that's how I started communicating with her on a regular basis.
Now, are the people who are trying to harm her family members or friends or people in the
No,
community?
no. They basically, there's a hierarchy. There are four people, two black, two white. They assumed the position where they entered a house through her allowing them to come in. She opened the door, they forced their way in. They started doing things in her flat. She's got a two-bedroom flat. It was decorated the same as mine, but I had a one-bedroom flat.
Hmm.
They dressed it up the same, but they moved all the sharp objects, all the heavy objects into a second bedroom and locked them away so that she couldn't harm them. And then they continued to start torturing her.
Now, what have you done to try to get her help? Have you talked to the police? Have
Yes,
you?
I spoke to the police,
Mhm.
but because she lied about being my ex-girlfriend, they have no interest in the situation anymore. Because obviously, you can understand that if they thought that she was my ex-girlfriend, they could actually go to somebody who I knew and knew where she lived and actually ask her the question as
Mhm.
to, is it you that's doing this? And she said no, and that isn't the situation at all.
Yeah, it must be very troubling to you. It
Very
must,
much,
yeah. Tell me
very
how
much
that
so.
affects your life.
Well, it affects it every day the same. I have to concentrate on what I'm doing instead of letting her and them manipulate my life in the way that they want to. Because became so jealous. I've done many things in my life where I'm a music producer. I produce various different styles of music. I'm a DJ. I'm an MC. And I've done things in my life where they've been so jealous that they've gone over the top in what they're doing to her to try to get the influence that they're doing to her through to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds very disturbing. Tell me what it was like writing the book. Was it helpful for you in like flushing out your thoughts about the whole thing?
It was helpful to an extent, but I have to write another book to explain my situation now because so much has changed. She's working under duress, but she's doing things that they want her to do,
Hmm.
which makes it very difficult for me because they're trying to hurt me all the time in various different ways and try to embarrass me in front of people and so on and so forth. The difficulty is that she can't say no because if she says no, she's under duress, she's been stabbed, she's got various different, I don't know if I can explain on your show, but she's not in a very good situation at all at the moment.
Are you hoping to one day have a real relationship with her that transcends this ESP relationship, that you actually get to meet her, know her, care about her?
I It was like that at the start, but when I explained to her that if she turns out not to be my ex-girlfriend,
Mhm.
then we've got a problem. And we have that problem ever since for the simple reason she lied and lied and lied and made me go with the wrong information to the police,
Right.
which obviously left me in a situation where now the police don't even trust me. So,
Absolutely.
uh, but we are going to develop this ESP because there's so much about it that needs to be categorized and written down, let's say, to let people understand how this works. There's so much to do that will affect how people pursue their own ESP. There's also so much to say, understand about ESP because it's not just the senses. I mean, at the moment, they're listening, she's listening, and I'm listening to what you're saying. But if she was talking, for instance, I would still be in a dilemma as to who I'm listening to, if I'm listening to you, if I'm listening to her all the time. It's no good.
Yeah.
So
Well, it
I
sounds like
I have to stop her from actually speaking from sometimes so that I can concentrate on my own life.
exactly, exactly. Well, the name of the book is called We Do ESP, The Life of a Woman in Turmoil. It's an
Yes,
amazing book. It's written by Howard Dunn. He explores this phenomenon and how it's affected his own life and a relationship with a woman whom he's never met, but has a constant connection with her through her mental abilities and his mental abilities. It's quite amazing. If you're interested in ESP, I highly recommend this book. Howard Dunn, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
thank you very much, Logan Crawford. My
My
pleasure.
pleasure. Glad to have you. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.